Hey, welcome back, comic fans. It's Mr. Q Comics back with some more show and tell. Today I've got a fantastic haul of books that I found at a local flea market that I just happened upon while I was on a fishing trip with my kids. We rented a cabin in the woods for a couple of days on a beautiful stream in Maine called the Cabosa Conti Stream. We decided to take a break one day from fishing and go find a bowling alley and video game center and get some ice cream. So right across from where we were getting ice cream when we were done was an indoor flea market, and I decided to pop in and see if they had some books, and sure enough, there were plenty of long boxes to dig through. So before I dive into the haul, guys, if you're a fan of haul videos, please do me a favor, go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about these books. So yeah, as I said, I saw the flea market as we were driving out to find this bowling alley. We decided to get ice cream on the way back, and I popped in there. Figure they wouldn't have anything. A lot of times these places I discover are, you strike out, but you check them all out to see if you find some stuff. And today was just a lucky day. So they had a ton of long boxes. I can't remember exactly, but probably at least 15 long boxes. They were all on a table, but there was no real order to them. The boxes were totally disorganized. Some bagged and boarded, some loose, some had prices, some didn't. I made sure to check with the guy in advance before I started digging on the pricing, and luckily there had been a sign on the other side of the table I didn't see. So everything was $2. So I made sure to clarify that before jumping in. Didn't want to get surprised at the counter after spending an hour digging. So I was able to find some great books in these boxes. I am sure I left some stuff behind because I just was with my kids and I didn't want to spend 3 hours digging through these boxes. So I was trying to do a speed dig and pick out the best stuff I could. Hopefully I'll get back there. I haven't gone up there because it was a bit of a ways away for me. So anyways, that being said, let's dive into the haul. First books I picked up a couple of copies of Secret Invasion #1. Obviously, this is a show coming to Disney Plus. I think it's estimated for springtime of 2023. I got the regular cover and the director's cut of issue #1. These are in pretty good shape. VF near mint to near mint range. Most of the stuff is modern spec books and minor keys. We got a copy of New Avengers #53. This is Brother Voodoo becomes Sorcerer Supreme. I think this got hot for a bit before Multiverse of Madness. I think there was speculation Brother Voodoo would show up in that movie potentially. So, I can see these books heating up again when more talk of Brother Voodoo shows up inevitably at some point. All right, this is just a cool cover. Jenny Frison cover I had not seen before, so this is something I grabbed for the PC. It's not in the best of shape, but the Witching Hour number, it's just a one-shot. I'm a big fan of Jenny Frison covers. I thought this one was fantastic. It's definitely beat up. It's probably more in the mid-grade range, but still presents, nice enough for my personal collection. Here's another one of those books that, man, this thing was hot for a while, and this thing is cold as ice, but if I find it for $1 or $2, I still grab it. We've got DC 52 week 11. First appearance of Kate Kane as Batwoman. This thing was super hot before that Batwoman show came out, and then I honestly never watched it, but I'm pretty sure it got canceled pretty quickly and did not get favorable reviews. So this book is like, I don't know, a $10, $15 book. I think on eBay, and I mean, if you're patient, you can definitely find this on the cheap if you were a fan of Batwoman. All right, this is just a cool minor key from the Bronze Age, Fantastic Four 209, the first appearance of Herbie, and this is the first John Byrne artwork on Fantastic Four. This one, probably mid-grade, fine, very fine range. This is a book that got hot pretty recently in the past 2 months or so, with speculation on Edge of the Spider-Verse 2. Actually, I think this villain is confirmed. This is the first Jonathan Owen who becomes a Spot in the next issue, so I'm pretty positive he's confirmed as the villain. So all those books spiked 97, 98, 99, and I think 100 of Spectacular Spider-Man. And this one is not in great shape, but for $2, it was definitely worth the pickup. All right, we got Amazing Spider-Man. This is volume 3, I believe. #5. This is the second appearance of Silk. probably VF, near mint condition. Did not see 4 in there, unfortunately, but still, second appearances, always great books to pick up, especially on the cheap if you find them for $1 or $2. So this was a cool cover. This is for my PC. Fantastic Brian Boland cover. I don't think this is worth a ton, but man, I like this cover. I've definitely seen this before. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight number 50. Just an awesome Joker cover here. I don't know if this was a $5-10 book. It's not really worth much, but fantastic Boland cover that will be going in the personal collection. Back to some Spidey here. We have got Amazing Spider-Man number 201. This one is not in the best of shape, but this is just an awesome classic John Romita Punisher cover here. So always a great book to pick up. This thing's pretty expensive in near mint. It's probably like a $20-25 book if you can find it in near mint condition. So this one is not. This one's probably in the VG range, but still, you're always taking that home for $2. All right, we got this haul is full of books that were like hot at one point and have cooled off, but still for a couple of bucks, to me, worthwhile pickups. We've got Captain America 276. Drawn in blank. I think this is the first appearance of the third Baron Zemo, something like that. Newsstand copy. This one's probably mid-grade range, but still great Mike Zeck run on Captain America. Fantastic artwork. So for $2, definitely taking it home. And we've also got 333. I think this is the first John Walker as Captain America. One of those books tied to U.S. Agent and John Walker that was hot before the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I don't know what it goes for now. Maybe a $10-15 book, I'm guessing. Not super expensive, but still, again, very cool book. Mike Zeck run in the Captain America, or Mike Zeck run on Captain America, which is just full of fantastic covers. Okay, getting into some of the better books here. Again, another book that was hot. This was hot for Loki, before Loki. Still a pretty expensive book, actually. Fantastic Four, $353. This is the direct edition. It's the first Mobius and Mobius, if I'm saying that right. It's got him in the little UPC box here. So this is the rare case where people are paying more for the direct copy than the newsstand because he's on the cover of this one. So what condition? This is in good shape, probably VF near mint. I don't know what it goes for, but it was still in the $30 range when I was checking listings on eBay before this video. Next, we got a little minor Hulk key here. Incredible Hulk 169. This is the first appearance of the Bi Beast. Mid-grade range, probably fine. Cool little key, very cool art. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's Herb Trimpe on the cover. This book I find on the cheap all the time. We got Incredible Hulk, Future Imperfect number 1. So this is the first appearance of Maestro. I think this is a great book to be picking up if you can find it cheap. I mean, obviously, Marvel's doing everything with the multiverse. Maestro is, one of these alternate universe Hulk versions. So to me, I've probably got 4 or 5 copies of this now, all of which I found for like $1 or $2. So these are out there. They do not command a lot on eBay as well right now. I think it's a $15, $20 book if you're patient. So happy to find another copy of that. I think it got some heat for a little bit, but it is definitely not super expensive at this point. We got Secret Wars 2, issue number 3. This is, man, there's so many keys tied to the Beyonder, but I think this is considered his first appearance in human form. So, obviously, we know Secret Wars is coming in some version. A lot of people think it's going to be the 2015 version of Secret Wars. But to me, anything with the Beyonder, definitely worth picking up if you can find them cheap. Again, none of this stuff I'm going out spending, top dollar for. Any of these hot books on hot lists, I am not going out and buying them at those prices. I either pass on them or wait till I find them in the dollar bin. So for $2, VF condition, I will definitely take it home. And I continue to find Secret Wars 2 books in the dollar bins on the cheap. And there's a couple of decent keys in there. You get the first Boom Boom in that series at issue number 5 as well. So Spider-Man 2099 number 1. Man, these books were going for quite a bit. Everything tied to Spider-Man 2099. with the first, you know, Edge of Spider-Verse 2 news, but these are all over the place. And not commanding a lot. So I think it's maybe a $15 book, even in the newsstand. I do find it tough to find in high grade. But again, for $2, I couldn't leave behind another copy of it. I think it's just, that's one of those books. There's just so many of them out there that everyone's kind of bought their copy, and it's tough to unload them at kind of higher prices because this market's just been flooded with copies of it. So, you know, I see people stockpiling, you know, 20 copies of certain books. And that's one of the things I've realized as I've gone on here is if I have too many copies of a book, it's difficult to unload them all. So to me, like 3 is the magic number. If I get 3 copies of a book, that's kind of my limit with specking. I'll get 3 copies and I don't want more than that, because if you're trying to sell them at the right time, you're kind of competing against yourself. So anyways, all right, another book I continue to find cheap, Thor $3.90. This was hot before Endgame. Of course, Captain America wields, I can never say it, Mjolnir. Thor's hammer in this issue still commands a pretty decent amount of money. I think it's still like a $20, $25 book, nowhere near what it was getting. I think it was like a $100 book before Endgame, which is crazy to me, but still $20, $25 book. And this is in, you know, VF near mint range. So happy to find that for $2. We got some X-Men Deadly Genesis. This is first appearance of Vulcan. We got the regular cover. It's got a nasty crease up there. And then we got the Casada variant, which is in better shape. These, again, were on Hot List at some point. I don't know what they're doing now. And I don't remember what it got hot for. I mean, it's the first appearance of Vulcan. I can't remember what it was tied to, what the rumors were. But cool little key if you can find them. Cheap, again, keyword being cheap on all of this stuff. Another book I find a lot on the cheap, Supervillain Classics, Galactus, The Origin. This is just kind of the retelling of Galactus's origin, I believe. It's a newsstand copy. These go for $20 all day long in high grade, 9/8. They're actually surprisingly expensive. Again, I think a lot of people just can't afford the FF 48, 49, and 50. They're just so expensive now, so these lower level keys get boosted up as well. Now we had a nice run of some decent Bronze Age X-Men, and I've kind of cherry picked out, honestly. I think I got like 100 books at this place, so I've cherry picked out some of the best. We've got X-Men 145. This is just an awesome Dave Cockrum cover, Dr. Doom cover. And these X-Men books, they varied. A lot of them are mid-grade. Some of these are in kind of closer to VF range. We've got issue 155. This is the first appearance of the Brood and the first Queen Brood. We've got issue 166, which is the first appearance of Lockheed. And there's another book that has been hot for a while now. First appearance in continuity of Firestar. Again, newsstand copy. So decent condition on this. Another one in the VF range. And another one of those books that a while back was super expensive. We got, well, not super expensive, but more expensive than it is now. X-Men 201. This is the first appearance of Cable, Nathaniel Summers as a baby. So this is like a $10, $15 book now, I think. And man, people, again, were paying like way more than that a few years back in high grades. So, all right, now we're getting into the more expensive books. Like the last pile, maybe 10 books or so. Always grabbing these when I can find them. We got Uncanny X-Men 282. This is the first full appearance of Bishop. Another one from these top 10 lists. X-Men Adventures #1. I can't remember why I got its first appearance of Morph, but there was some speculation, I think, with that character or something tied to these the X-Men Adventures series. And I don't know what this goes for now, but again, pretty decent copy of this. Probably VF range again. A lot of these are in the VF range. I think this whole run of X-Men stuff was just completely loose in the box. Another copy of X-Men #4, first appearance of Omega Red. I don't know how many of these I have now. Probably 8 or 9 of these. All of them. I don't think I paid more than $3 for a copy of this book. I still continue to find this book in places like antique stores and flea markets where you will just find boxes of modern books that people don't dig through a lot. I find it a lot in antique stores with antique dealers because they don't know comics well, and they have this, this assumption that modern books, anything that's like $1 on the cover, is worthless. Like, so a lot of that stuff you can find in antique stores and flea markets because they're just focusing on bronze and before. So a lot of the modern stuff gets skipped over. So that's why I continue to find these. Okay, some more stuff tied to the Secret Invasion show. We get New Avengers #40. I got 2 copies of this. First appearance, I'm going to butcher the name. Princess Varenki, something like that. So again, these are beat up. They're not in great shape. They got some spine ticks all over them. It's got that dark cover, so tough to find them in high grade, but 2 copies of that. Kind of bad timing on this one. This show is going on currently. I honestly haven't watched it. See a lot of people kind of arguing back and forth online about it, which always cracks me up. But another copy of Sensational She-Hulk #1. Awesome John Byrne cover. I got the newsstand copy. Again, decent shape probably. This is probably in the very fine range again. So just another cool book to find for $2. These were cool. I didn't know what these were exactly, but I knew these hip-hop covers could be pricey, and these were definitely just loose in the box. They are not in great shape. But we've got Hulk #1, the Raza She-Hulk variant here. 2 copies of these. Again, this one's got a nasty tear because they were just loose. I don't even think they had bags in them. A lot of these had nothing. So I think in high grade, these are like $50 books, but these are probably like $20, $25 in the condition they're in. Pretty cool books. I think I found, I'm drawing a blank. It might have been the same series, but it was like the Scotty Young variant. But honestly, I already got rid of it because the Scotty Young signing happened a month or so ago, and I wanted to sell it for that. All right, down to the last few books. Like I said, I think I walked out of there with, he had to give me a short box, so I grabbed a ton of stuff, some of which I already sold off, but these were just kind of the highlights. These are probably the top 3 books of the haul. We will start off with Marvel Age #12. This was never a huge book, but this is a preview of, it's obviously got Secret Wars on the cover. It's got the preview of the black costume art in there. So I was surprised at how much this was. I knew it was a key, but I didn't realize it commanded as much as it does. This is probably in the VF range. I don't know what this is going for, but I think it's at least like a $40, $50 book. So happy to grab that. I honestly don't think I even had a copy in my personal collection. Last 2 books, pretty big modern books here. This is a book I have never come across. This is the Ultimates #2 from 2015. First appearance of Galactus Lifebringer. Again, another book I saw on top 10 list. I can't remember at all why it was hot. I think now it's like a $15 book, but what I didn't notice till I actually got home and rebagged and boarded everything, this one is the second printing, which still commands roughly like $100. A lot of these Marvel Now books from 2015, a lot of those second prints are really expensive. So happy to find that. I just remember the cover from the top 10 list. It is a cool, Da Vinci homage cover here. So yeah, really big score on that. And finally, another copy of this. For those of you who watch my hauls, I found a copy of this at a different flea market for $1. So still $2. Fantastic price for this. We have got Inhumans #5. First appearance of Yelena Belova. Again, probably VF near mint range. Not something I'll be grading. I don't think any of this is really slab worthy. I'll just kind of unload all of this raw. Some of it on my comic shop, some of it on eBay. So this still goes for a good chunk. Obviously, it's cooled off quite a bit since Black Widow, but it's still, first appearance of a fairly big character that's probably going to be sticking around in the MCU for a while. So they had the whole run of Inhumans, and 5 was missing. So I figured, oh crap, someone else picked through this, but I found it in one of the other boxes, luckily. So happy to find another copy of that. So that is it for the haul, guys. Again, if you're a fan of these types of videos, please do me a favor, leave me some comments below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon.